Welcome to the Academic Writing Amplified podcast. On this podcast, we believe that the culture of academia needs to change radically. Women and non-binary people are revolutionizing academia within institutions that were not built for us. If you're ready to reject the culture of overwork, kick guilt and overwhelm to the curb, and amplify your voice to make a real impact on your field without breaking down or burning out, you're in the right place. With our team of experienced writing coaches as co-hosts, we'll share insights and talk to inspiring guests to bring you the practical strategies, systems, and mindset shifts you need to find time to write, publish work you love, and design your career on your terms. And it all starts with writing. Let's go. Hey, listeners. Happy December. I'm so excited to be entering into what is going to be for us we call it a sabbatical, a little holiday sabbatical. We are going to be taking some time off as a company from about December 22nd until January 9th. And we're very, very excited about that. So that's just a heads up for all of you. If you're trying to get in contact with us, we are taking what we call our Three Kings Day sabbatical. That is a holiday that we celebrate where most of our team is, which is here in Puerto Rico. Anyway, I wanted to introduce today's episode. In this episode, we're sharing with you an information session we recently did for our Elevate Mid-Career program, where we discussed how to thrive post-tenure and reach that next level in your career. We also looked at our Elevate program components, so you'll hear about that. And we highlighted several program members and their amazing results, as well as covered questions you might have before joining us in Elevate. And right now, we're actually still enrolling in Elevate, but you have to hurry because enrollment ends on December 22nd. Now, Elevate is an application-only program. What does that mean? That means that we have a very short application form that helps us determine if Elevate is a good fit for you. So we are going to link that up for you in the show notes so that you can apply for Elevate before our deadline. And you're going to want to apply right now today, because when this episode drops, it'll just be a little bit before a very special funding workshop that we are doing on Wednesday, December 7th. Now, that workshop is only for people who have applied for our Elevate program. So if you want to get in and learn all about how to ask for internal funding. Now, of course, we want you to use these workshop strategies to ask for internal funding for Elevate or other professional development programs, right? But the method we're going to teach on Wednesday, December 7th is going to be applicable to any kind of internal funding ask, or asking for space, or asking for graduate assistant help or administrative help. So you're definitely going to love this workshop. We'll also be answering any questions you have about the Elevate program. And this special funding workshop on Wednesday, December 7th is only available to our Elevate program. You're going to want to go fill out the application, even if you're just a little bit interested, but especially if you're super interested, so that we can meet you, figure out if you're a right fit for the program, invite you to the funding workshop so that you can go and search for and ask for and get that funding, and join us in our Elevate program, which starts late January. It officially starts February 1, but we are kicking off with our New Year's writing retreat in late January. So you're going to have to hurry. Fill out that application. Enrollment ends on December 22nd. So you only have about 3 weeks to apply, come to our funding workshop, and go get that money so that you can join us for our Elevate program starting next year. So we're super excited about it. You'll get to hear lots more details in this upcoming episode. I hope you enjoy. Welcome. This little presentation is called The Next Level in Your Career. And if that freaks anybody out, don't worry, we're going to be talking about that. You don't have to know what the next level looks like in order to participate in Elevate. So we'll talk about that real briefly. But basically, this is a look into our Elevate program. So welcome everyone. Hi, Rocio. Yay. All right. So a couple truths about mid-career, and I'm going to be using the term tenure, but I want my people in Europe and other places around the world that are not the US and Canada to know that what I mean is like year 6 or so into your career, whether you have a tenure system or some other, you call the promotion system something else, it is actually the same feeling. So we're going to call it mid-career right here. And we feel like this youngster who is like, you thought you'd be less tired by now, right? You thought like I'm going to get to this mid-career level and I'm going to have like more autonomy, more authority, and I'm just not going to feel exhausted. But actually, I feel more exhausted than ever. All right. Another truth about mid-career is that you actually have more responsibilities in your institution. I call it the snowball, right? Like that your responsibilities kind of snowball and you're like pick up things off the mountain as it rolls. That's the metaphor. But there's like still a lot of patriarchy smashing to do and lots of things that you want to change. But it's so hard because you have kind of all these responsibilities that you've been garnering as you've been rolling through your career. And then finally, I love this moment in the Rapunzel movie. The post-tenure or the mid-career path is completely up to you. And also, it's completely up to you. So, it seems exciting. And also it's like scary. What am I going to do if I can do anything? Right. So we know, and I'm speaking for myself and the coaches, we know there is more for you. And the reason we know that is because our team has actually helped nearly 70 mid-career faculty dream bigger and reach new career heights in our Elevate program. And I'm going to be talking specifically about some of them today. You'll be meeting them virtually. A more fulfilling and impactful career is waiting for you. And we think that we have created a program where we can help you uncover the secret or the results that we want you to get, which is this up-leveled career. And up-leveling is like what it means to you, right? Some people are going to look at the next level in their career as a new job, right? They're going to look at it as a deanship. They're going to look at it as running a lab that's kind of at a new level of funding. And other people are going to look at up-leveled as actually just more time spent doing what they want to do, right? As defining the impact they want their career to have and then doing that impact. So this is really, it is vague on purpose, right? And also, if you feel scared about that, or if you feel like, oh, I don't know, that's part of the work of Elevate, which is to really learn how to hone that listening to your own inner voice about what you want to do and what you want to create in the world. So our framework for this program involves coaching around 6 main themes. I'm going to go through each one of them. Once you have done this kind of coaching journey with us in Elevate, we know that your career will be different. So I want to talk a little bit, Gina and I actually are going to talk about why we created Elevate and a tiny bit about how. So I'm going to tell you a bit about my post-tenure story. So I was post-tenure, maybe even all the way full, when the metaphorical stuff hit the fan. To not curse in front of your children if you're listening, at our university in Puerto Rico. So the whole financial crisis was fully underway. And one of the main things that the Junta de Control Fiscal, which was the kind of outside implemented over our government financial control board, one of the main things they want to do was change Puerto Rico's funding system for the public, the way they fund the University of Puerto Rico, which is the only public university in the country. So they wanted to change it to much more of a public universities in the US model, which is funded by alumni and, funded by these big funding drives and donors, right? And that kind of thing. And in Puerto Rico, the way that higher ed is and was funded was by taking a percentage off the top of all the collected taxes. So that was something that was like a model that control board wanted to change, and it involved more than $500 million in cuts. And so at the university, it's just not a fun place to be. And many of you, are experiencing this or have experienced. It's not a fun place to be when there's giant and deep cuts. So I'll just tell this one story. The students were striking in a long strike, like an over 2-month strike. And I was at the bakery and I'm listening to people around me talking because the news is on like a TV or they're looking at the headline of a paper or something. And they're like, why are we paying the professors if they're not giving classes to the students? And I had this like light bulb moment in my head, which was like, I better figure out what the heck I'm doing because both of us have our salaries in this system, which is being cut, which is not like the public opinion was shifting. Like it was a whole holy mess. And that was one of the main catalysts that helped me make a decision about what I wanted to do next in my career, which was create these programs and coach all of you. But I want to kind of just say that I climbed the ranks and I did all the things, right? I got tenured, I got full, founded a research lab, I got big grants, I published things. And I spent those years like feeling really frustrated and tired. And if you're frustrated all the time because your university is facing cuts or whatever's happening and you're trying to create and you just like hit walls, it's super exhausting, right? And then I figured out my zone of genius and I actually created my own container, which is this business that offers professional development and coaching. And that's how my post-tenure story turns out, just to give you a little background. So I'm going to turn it over to Gina, and Gina, I'll work the slides for you just to make it as simple as possible. Look at Gina, look at that little nugget in your arms in this picture. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Oh my goodness. He is 12 now. Wow. So my story started out with, a super, super exciting grad school experience where I was totally ready to, become the professor of my dreams. And what really happened was that I ended up at a university where my success was really not linked to the work that I was doing. I felt like I was caught up in political issues. There was a lot of bullying. There was all kinds of stuff that really just made it difficult for me to feel like this was the right path for me. And so I ended up leaving, and I felt like I was in a lot of turmoil. And one thing that I have learned in that time is that turmoil isn't something that we just want to resolve, right? Turmoil is a signal. It's telling us something, it's teaching us something. And it was a signal for me that I needed to make a really, really big change. So I left. I went to the Vermont Humanities Council, which was an amazing position and gave me a lot of perspective in terms of what life outside of academia is, but also gave me the opportunity, as Kathy put here, to find my zone of genius. I started working with Kathy part-time and felt like, oh, maybe I'll kind of keep this connection to academia. And then, the more that I started working with this company, the more that I felt like this was really not just my zone of genius, but also kind of my mission. So here I am, and I wish that I'd had Kathy way back when I were a faculty member, but if I did, I probably wouldn't be here. So thank you, Kathy.
No, thank you. I'm glad it all worked out the way that it did, of course. So that's just a little bit about me and Gina, who have gone through the tenure process, right? And when we were forming this program, which really formed because people asked us to create it, it It was the winter of 2019 before the pandemic hit in 2020. And we talked to over 50 women and non-binary faculty. We were just like, let's find out as much as we can about people's kind of struggles post-tenure and to see if they were the same as ours and to see how we wanted to address it. So, and when I say talk to, I personally interviewed at least 50 people who were in our community at that time. So they got tenure and they thought, this is a common themes were, they got tenure and they thought, why is this not different? Okay, why doesn't it feel different than it did pre-tenure? Why do I still feel like I'm on like a treadmill that's set too quick, too fast? They were really itching to make change, but also kind of tired, right? And not sure where to put their energy next, or even what exactly change looked like or could look like, or how to go after it. And they were across the board overwhelmed with admin responsibilities that many people had taken on without additional compensation, and also with putting out fires. So let me know in the chat if any of those things resonate with you. But that's a little bit about the things that influenced us to create the program. But I do want to mention that Elevate is really co-created by the coaching team, whose beautiful faces we see here, and you, right? And the participants themselves. So because most of the program components are delivered live, we are actually adjusting and figuring out as we go how to better make those 6 spokes of the framework apply to the specific cohort that we have with us during that round of Elevate. Yes, Ana Jose, it's too much. It's sad, right? That like so many people have this kind of same experience, but it also means that when we get together and try to solve some of these problems for ourselves, that there's a way to do it. And that we know that there's a way because now we've run this program so many times. Like I said, we've had almost 70 clients go through this program. We know that we're doing a good job of helping people to get over those obstacles. So here's a couple of our very successful Elevate members. This is Becky. She was in our first cohort that started in January 2020. Becky felt like she had big goals to accomplish, but was drowning in the everyday. So maybe that resonates with you, right? She was really hungry to see the big picture of her career and to make big impact. Now, Becky is an epidemiologist. And what I always want to say is that if Becky was able to make time in between February 2020 and July 2020 to participate in our program, anybody should be able to do that, because Becky now has a regular spot on TV where she talks about epidemiology issues. She has a weekly newsletter that goes out. She's really stepped into a major role in her community, not only leading her campus, but leading her community in COVID-19 response. And now more broadly in public health and epidemiology information. Here's Joanne. After years of working in admin, Joanne felt like she deserved a promotion, but her department actually didn't agree. And Joanne is in the UK, so she kind of had to have her department's go ahead to go up for full, or the equivalent of full. But she was like, no, I do deserve that promotion. And she stood up for herself and got the support of her dean and went up for promotion anyway. So she was able to really make that big decision, which would have been scary before, with the support of Elevate. This is Despina. Despina joined Elevate because she thought she'd be able to get even more done. Like that was her thought. She was like, oh, if I take this, my productivity will go up. Now, this woman was already bringing in more grant funds than anyone else in her department. She was already like running this big lab, doing big things. And so actually what she learned in our program was how to rest. And she took her first 2-week vacation 100% off work. So she came in with this idea, is like, I'm going to be more productive. And she left with spaciousness and time with her kids and like some of those things that are like more valuable, right, than productivity. Yes, Davina, we need the rest. That's a big part of how we coach, actually. And this is Sonia. Sonia already was a leading researcher and publisher when she joined Elevate. In the program, she really figured out her zone of genius. And this is one of my favorite things. She used university funds to hire an assistant so that she was able to clear even more time to work in her zone. And that's something that we talk about. You'll see when I talk about the curriculum, finding support, which sometimes means hiring support and knowing how to get those resources to do that. So what we're going to cover today in the next few minutes is who Elevate is for, how the program works. I'm going to go over the curriculum. I have a special gift for you, so please stay until that time, and then we're going to have time for a Q&A. So the Elevate program is a mostly live delivered online coaching program. It's perfect for newly tenured faculty, or if you're someone who is on your way into or out of an admin role. We get a lot of clients who are either going into being a department chair or dean, or coming out of that experience and trying to find their way again. Elevate is also perfect for somebody going up for that final promotion. So if that's full or whatever they call it in your system, right? Going up for that final promotion. Or even we have had people who are already full professors and are just want more from their career, or want their career to feel different, or feel like there's another thing out there for them and they're trying to figure out what it is. We're looking for a diverse group of 24 scholars ready to support each other in reaching the next level in their careers. There are only 24 spots in this program. It is 2 cohorts of 12. Elevate is for you if you want to figure out your post-tenure path that is in line with your mission and values. And if you want to learn how to build a team of support around you, both at work and at home. Elevate is also for you if you want to spend more of your precious time doing what really lights you up, like not just what you're good at or what other people think you're good at, but what lights you up inside, right? And also if you want to create an impact on the world through your work. And also I want to add here that you want to define that impact for yourself rather than look at what your university thinks is impact on the world. So how the program works, right? I'm going to walk you real quick through our program framework and then talk about our program experience, like the different program parts, and then give you all the information about the extras. Don't forget, I've got a special gift for you for staying to the end. So this is the framework for this program. It's a 6-month program. And basically we take each one of these areas and dive real deep into it month by month. We start with Elevate Your Mission in February, and then we work around, and the program ends at the end of July. So in month 1, called Elevate Your Mission, what we're going to do here is like reignite your sense of purpose and your academic mission. Again, as you progress in academia, a lot of times you kind of just like keep picking up stuff, and it's hard to like cull those things away and really focus on what you want to focus on. You might even not know what that is. And that's okay. Like we help you figure out what that is. So this is not just those of you who have done Navigate. This is not just your academic mission statement. Those of you who have done Amplify, this is not your milestone map. This is really like your ideal vision of your career, why you want to do it, super big picture vision. And of course, like we still keep working on the mission statement, which changes at this point of the career. And we really want to show you how to figure out what we're using this term zone of genius, which we borrowed from the book, The Big Leap. But really what we're talking about here is what you really, your unique contribution to the world, not which is different from what everybody else wants you to do, and even different from things you're excellent at. Because the problem at this level in your career and in your human development is that you're actually excellent at many things. So now is the time to decide, of the many things that I'm excellent at, what is it that I really want to be spending my days doing? Because what you spend your days doing is what you spend the rest of your career doing. So it's a very important thing to figure out. In month 2, we really talk about valuing your time. At this level of your career, your time, I mean, it's always valuable, but your time is extra valuable because it has all this expertise built into it. Years and years of study, years and years of experience, right? And so as you keep moving through your career, thinking about time as your most valuable resource is really, really important. So it's not just like, entry-level time management skills. It's really up-level time management skills for a person who is a super expert in their thing, right? And we also talk about building a team of support around you, whether that is through, if you work in a lab, how you build and manage your lab team. But even if you're not in a lab department or a lab area of study, how do you build the support of students and postdocs and other people you work with around you to help it support staff, right? To help you get to where you want to be and keep your time super protected. In month 3, of course, we want to talk about writing because we love to talk about writing. So we think about really like what we have you envision this career for yourself. And then what we want to do is like figure out what's like the first step writing project to that, big vision for your career. So we talk about centering your writing and designing your pipeline to support this vision. In month 4, and really throughout this whole program, we talk about trusting your process. Okay. So we have you evaluate your current practices, find ways to make them more sustainable. Of course, we're going to talk about saying no, and we're going to really think about how you have been thinking like that stuff you do is a weakness or part of your personality or your working habits are a weakness, that actually you should be developing those things and thinking of them as strengths. So we want to really have you really trust your process. So almost like excavate or uncover your own process and tweak it rather than say like, oh, I'm bad at time management or I'm only deadline oriented or all of these messages that we say to ourselves. We really want to think like, how is it that you do it? What has been working for you all of this time? And how can you do more of that or tweak that so that it feels better? So really figuring out your process. In month 5, we talk about leading for legacy. We have a great conversation about leadership, what it means, what it looks like. Some people in the program are resistant to the word leadership because they've had to equate it so long with not getting paid to do higher level work, or they've had to equate it for so long with admin. And so, but really everyone who joins this program is a leader in some way, right? A leader of students, a leader in their research field. So how are you going to be a leader the way you want to be, right? And not what kind of the world tells you it looks like. And then finally, the last month, we talk about raising the stakes. So really getting that up-leveled vision. Now that you've gone through the whole program, how would you go back and how do you see that next 5 or 10 years of your career? And how are you going to source the money to get there? Like, how are you going to get that support? How are you going to fund support for yourself? Defining what success looks like for you in everyday small ways and then in bigger ways. And then, really figuring out what that big ambitious goal is and how to fund it, right? Again, even if the ambitious goal is, we'd really like to write a book about this thing that I didn't think was right in my area, but is, and also not work on weekends. Like that is a perfectly wonderful and I think ambitious goal considering the way most of us are working in academia right now. So that's the curriculum. And I do have it in a brochure for you, which I'll link up during the Q&A part. So you're going to experience the program parts, we call them, or the program experience is every month we take one of these themes that I've just outlined for you. And there's a monthly 90-minute workshop delivered live via Zoom by our team of coaches. Okay, so that's workshop style. And that happens on the first Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock Eastern or New York City time. So that is everybody together. So all 20 to 24 members on that call together. And Joanne said, I surprised myself, but joining Elevate has really helped me to recognize my strengths and stand up for them. And that's something we really work on in those workshop calls. You're also going to experience small group coaching. And those are monthly 90-minute cohort. We call them cohort calls because there's 2 groups. We break into 2 groups of 10 or 12. And those calls really help you implement the things you learned in the workshop and build peer mentoring. And you can choose between Wednesdays at 1 p.m., the 3rd week of each month, Wednesday at 1 p.m. or Friday at 11 a.m. And those are also 90-minute calls. So one workshop per month, one group coaching call per month. Becky said, I prioritize Elevate calls above all else. I have come to need those calls and the opportunity to be grounded in a way that I need nothing else right now. It has been amazing how much the program has energized me in the midst of so much chaos. And so really we're asking, and some of you are like, oh, can I commit to those times? And that's in the back of your head because all of you are overworked. And so this is just a little reminder. That investment of 90 minutes in the first week of the month and 90 minutes in the third week of the month really has payoff in terms of this feeling of being grounded and feeling in control of your career. We also offer one-on-one coaching. Every month, you'll get one one-on-one coaching call with our coaching team. You sign up for that time as it fits into your schedule. So workshop, group call, one-on-one call. This is what we're doing every month. Jennifer Carter said, the coaching helped me think through what I want to do next in my research and sparked a series of serendipitous events that I made the most of with the preparation and planning I got in the program. So she was really able to work through she was an engineer. So like her grant funding method and how she spent time working on grants with little kids during the pandemic. And that coaching really helped her get through and be successful. Also, every month, we have a peer review session. And the peer review sessions happen not just with the Elevate cohort, but also with our alumni group. So there'll be some additional Elevate alums and Amplify alums mixed into the peer review. Peer review, again, happens monthly. So monthly structured peer review sessions so that you can move forward in your writing impactfully. And those sessions are designed to be, you bring 3 to 5 pages of whatever the heck you want, like really like whatever you're working on. You bring 3 to 5 pages and you get eyes on that. You don't have to prep ahead of time except to have your pages ready. And they could be an outline. It could be an abstract. It really can be super rough, but just come and get eyes on your work and a great kind of multidisciplinary discussion. So this is from Danielle Tucker, a senior lecturer in management and Elevate member. She says, I remember thinking I'm losing the enthusiasm. I wanted to get the enjoyment back. And then just the bolded quote here, right? To find that inspiration from other people who are ambitious and driven and have similar goals. So she says, if you just need some space to think and understand what your career direction could be and might look like, definitely do it. This program will help you with all of that. We start the program with a 3-day online retreat, our New Year's writing retreat, which is happening in 2023, January 25 through 27. And this kicks off as your career changing year. You meet your cohort and you participate in our writing retreat as a way to kind of get started, meet the coaches and start to experience what it's like to work with us online. Do we have alumni and other people in the program who can read writing in French, coaches? I'm going to say yes, but I'm trying to think. We have French Canadians, right?
Yeah. And we've been able to connect people and do that in the past.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you see Lynn's question about the individual coaching? How much?
Yes, no problem. It's one coaching session per month. So 6 coaching calls. And the reason we do it that way is that we really think that you have you need time to implement, right? So if you have a one-on-one coaching call every week, it would feel wrong. So that once a month helps you to really work on something, implement, have another call, keep moving forward, but without feeling going super fast. Although I will say a part of this program that really helps you move fast, if you want to move fast, is the one-on-one coaching. So monthly live workshops, monthly group coaching sessions, monthly one-on-one calls, monthly peer review, and our 3-day retreat. Those are the bones of the program. And there's some extras that you get by being part of our most kind of top level program. So we do offer daily and weekly support inside of our online community. We have a Monday and actually Tuesday, you can choose one or the other, weekly mindset coaching call. So a 30-minute group coaching call that you can participate in every week or not, because what we really want to teach you in this program is to trust what you need, right? How you need to be. And so if you need that 30-minute group coaching call, come and do it. And if not, don't do it and don't feel like you're missing out, because really we want you to like develop that sense of trusting what you need. We also offer daily co-writing in our online community. So like specific Zoom times where you can get online and write with other people in our programs silently, but you're all there together. So it gives you that kind of little energy boost. And then we also run a community in Slack, which is not a social media program. It's like a tool, an online tool for asynchronous communication, I guess I would say. So that's a way that you can connect with your fellow Elevate members outside of the calls and with our coaching team as well. And you get every single course we've ever done. So all recorded material that we've ever created, you get access to, not necessarily all at once, because we don't want to like completely overwhelm you, but even the Amplify recorded workshops and all of if you've never taken our Navigate program, you get all the 10 recorded modules for Navigate when you join Elevate. So, and you get to keep those. So that's for you. It gives us kind of a bank of resources that we can share with you as we go through the program. So the total value here, the program value is around $10,000. The value of all those extras, if you were to buy them all individually, is around $18,000. The total value we're talking about here is around $29,000. And the investment in our program is $10,000. So it's $10,000 for the 6 months. Let me say this, and then we do have an early bird price I'm going to show you in a second. So Despina said, you can't afford not to do this, right? So she said, I was really nervous about spending my professional development funds on Elevate, but looking back, I think it's one of the best financial decisions I've ever made. It has a huge spillover effect. I'm a better mentor, collaborator, wife, and mother as a result. Elevate has had a direct effect on my family, my friends, my colleagues, my students. We feel like we can't afford to do it, but it's almost like we can't afford not to, right? So I'm going to do a few frequently asked questions. So as I mentioned before, some of you may be thinking like, oh my gosh, how much time did this take? I'm so busy, right? So to be really clear, one of the key aspects of Elevate is time management training. So this program is actually going to save you time. So making enough time to participate in the key program aspects is going to save you time for years. So I just want to kind of put it that way. And also what we really are asking you to do is dedicate 90 minutes per week. So week 1 of the month is a workshop. Week 2 is a one-on-one call. Maybe actually you can schedule them throughout, but as a sample schedule, right? Week 3 is the group call. Week 4, you might participate in peer review. So in addition, optionally, you could come to our 30-minute mindset call in the beginning of each week and participate in a co-writing session. But at its core, we're talking about 90 minutes per week of commitment. When are the meetings? This is really important. So again, and this is in the brochure, I believe, the first Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock Eastern or New York City time. And then the cohorts are the third Wednesday and the third Friday of the month at 1 and at 11, also 90-minute calls. Just got tenure. Should I wait or should I do this now? So again, Becky's words. Elevate has helped me realize that I need to prioritize myself and the work that I want to accomplish. And it helped me recognize that taking this time for myself also has benefits for my students, the administration, my community, my research field. Don't wait. This is the year to do it. And yeah, I don't think there's any reason to wait. If you are here on this call, it means you are feeling some of these things that we talked about, right? Struggling with some of these kind of mid-career problems. So why wait and solve them at some undefined later date? Like, let's solve them now and have a more joyful and impactful career from now on, right? So I'm a full professor. Is this program for me? Yes. There's no entry requirements in terms of like, nobody's looking at your promotion papers. We've had full professors come in and get a lot of value from the program. When am I enrolling this program? Are we enrolling this program again? We run this program once a year. As of right now, it's only going to happen in this next, the enrollment period now for the 6 months next year. So it happens basically February through July each year. Some people are scared because they don't know what their next level looks like. Am I ready for Elevate? Yeah, we're going to help you figure out what that is. And actually, some people have one next level in mind and it changes during the program. So that is part of the experience of the program, is really getting clear on what that next level looks like for you. And then maybe you're thinking, I've done other professional development programs before. How is this one different? I mean, I could go on, but one of the ways it's different is that you're not just figuring out that next level, you're also figuring out how to implement that next level. And you're really developing this self-trust and the kind of inner tools to do that. So it's really a coaching program. We lure you in with talk of training, but actually the goodness of this program is in the coaching. And even our trainings are rather coachy. And what that means, what we think coaches do is help reflect back to you that inner knowledge that you might not be able to tap because you're hearing so many other voices about what you should do, or you've been doing things a certain way for so long. So this is really a coaching program. So it's different from like a seminar that somebody's going to bring a one-time something. No, it's not that. It's really meant to be transformational. Some people worry like, I want to do it, but I got to talk to my department chair. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Some tips for talking to your department chair or dean about this. I just want to make sure that when you go into that conversation that you're not asking for permission. Don't give them the decision-making power. You're saying, this is what I want, right? Like you're not saying, do I have permission to do this? It's more like, will you support me in doing this, right? They might find it hard to believe you're struggling because many of the people on this call are actually the leaders in their departments, are the people who looks like you're most productive. So you want to frame that conversation as like, I've found a solution that's going to help me do the next thing I want to do in my career. Because from the outside to other people, you might not look like you're struggling at all, right? So that's really important to kind of frame it like, I want to do something and I have found the solution that's going to help me get there. Your results will impact those around you profoundly. Many of the quotes from this presentation talk about how it's impacted their families, their communities, their students, right? So this is something that's going to impact people around you. About privacy, this is important to know, like we don't record group calls because we talk about kind of private things and we don't want those recordings like out there. We do record the workshop and then we have a curriculum for the group calls, like usually, which just is like which will be like guide questions and those kind of things, which we will make available to you if you have to miss a call. But we don't provide recordings of the group calls or the one-on-ones for this reason. Like we don't want to be the stewards of some very personal interactions between you and coaches, recorded on the internet. So as I mentioned before, we have about half of our members pay with university funds, either because they have their own startup money or they want to use their own indirect cost money, or they ask, right? They make an ask. So yes, we absolutely can accept payment from your university, but just a couple of things to have in mind. If you're like, well, my university takes forever to pay, so I'm going to join a payment plan to hold my spot or to hold the reduced pricing, right? Which I think is a great idea. That's great, but we can't refund your money, right? So one thing that you could do is sign up with the payment plan now, work the contacts and get that funding so that it hits before your next payment. We'll stop the payments and basically you pay the first payment or the first couple payments while you're working on getting that funding lined up. And then your university can pay off the difference. What we can't do is refund you. Okay. So it's not like you pay $3,000 in and then your university comes up with funding and then we refund you $3,000. We can't do that. So think about, how fast your university works and who you need to talk to really get that funding to come through quickly. If your university pays, because I know some of you are like, yep, I've got the funds and I just need to get you in my system so we can cut you a check. We need to have the payment in full from your university like by December 22nd. So that's why we opened enrollment at the beginning of October, because it really gives you like almost 3 whole months to get that payment to us. We can't let you in the program until we have your payment. So if we We know universities are slow. We ourselves have been bitten in the butt before. So we need to make sure that we have payment in hand. Hey, I hope that you enjoyed that sneak peek into our Elevate program and that it gave you some insights into what you might want to expect from yourself in your mid-career. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, we have a special opportunity for everybody who applies for Elevate. All you got to do is go ahead, fill out the application so that you can get the link. We'll send it right over to you for our workshop on Wednesday, December 7th. This workshop is about getting internal funding, and we're going to teach you our technique that's helped many people get funded for our programs. But you need to apply to Elevate in order to get that link to share the time with us on Wednesday, December 7th. So we're going to link up the application to Elevate here in the show notes. So it'll just take about 5 to 7 minutes tops to apply. If you are mid-career, if you're looking for incredible support and a program that's going to propel you with energy into the next several years of your career, then Elevate is for you. And we would love to have you join our February 2023 cohort. So apply today and we'll see you at our special Elevate funding workshop on Wednesday, December 7th.
Thank you so much for spending your valuable time supporting yourself and your writing by listening to this episode. If you like what you heard today, the best way to say thank you is to hop on over to Apple iTunes and write an honest review. The more reviews, the more amazing academic women and non-binary people will find this podcast. So go write one now.